In this Cîroc Infused candy apple tutorial, you'll learn how to correctly insert alcohol bottles within your candy apples. If I decide to make my candy apples white, I use Wilton's white icing color. If I decide to use blue, I will use navy blue from Hobby Lobby. If I decide to make red candy apples, I love Hobby Lobby's Super Red Gel Food Coloring. This is the bomb for red. Hobby Lobby's Super Red. This is an apple that is not cleaned versus the cleaned apples that I let sit in boiling hot water with lemon juice, baking soda, and salt for 6 seconds. Then I take the apples out and I dry them down with a dry paper towel. So that's the difference between an unclean apple and a clean apple. This is perfectly green in the inside. I've just stripped down the wax and the food colorings and dyes that they use. I will be using the 4-3-1 candy apple recipe. That's 4 cups of sugar, 3 cups of water, and 1 cup of Ciroc. This is the brand that I use, Loren's Butter Vanilla. This is my default flavor unless a customer requests for another flavor like strawberry, watermelon, cherry, grape, lemon, whatever. But this is my default flavor. And you can find this in my Amazon bake shop just as well as the Ciroc light corn syrup. Now you can use any light corn syrup. I just prefer this brand. Four cups of sugar, 3 cups of water, 1 cup of Ciroc or light corn syrup. Walmart brand is just as good. I prefer my candy apple mixture to look like this. I do not like my candy apple mixture thick because if it is, my candy apples will come out thick. I am adding 1 cup of light corn syrup. 1 cup of light corn syrup. Depending on how many apples I use, this is 1 teaspoon. You can use 1.5 teaspoon for bigger batches or either 1 tablespoon. I will continue to stir and put my candy on the stove until it reaches 300 degrees. I haven't decided what color I will use. So I may do white and I may do blue. If I'm gonna do white, I will just keep this clear. So I'm not gonna add white. That prevents the candy apples from turning a dull color. So I put my candy apple mixture on about 4, no higher than 5. And I let it cook until it reaches 300 degrees. So while your candy apples is cooking, if you are using your oven, if you're baking something, it's a good idea to place your apples on another side of the counter. Or if you have a kitchen island, maybe transfer your apples over to the kitchen island, because if your oven is on, this whole entire section and the counter section, it's going to be humid and you're going to have that heat. Some people have issues with their candy melting as soon as they place them on the parchment paper. And the first thing I ask is, do you have your oven or were you baking anything? And the answer is usually yes. So when you're baking something, just have your apples somewhere else and not beside the stove. So I am going to take these 3 apples. For this candy apple tutorial, I am using the vodka, the Ciroc vodka with the blue. Okay? You take your bottle, and the best thing to do is get a bottle with a slim neck. This is okay. This is fine. The slimmer your neck, the better you're going to be able to infuse these apples. I usually insert my liquor bottles on the bottom of the apple. I'm going to show you what happens when you insert the liquor bottle on the top of the apple. So I'm going to put it on the top. I usually try to just push mine on. That's the best way for me. Try not to overscrew, because if you overscrew, you're going to loosen the apple, and then when you turn it upside down, you're going to have alcohol leaking, or when you dip your apple, you're going to have bubbles because alcohol is leaking. You're going to cork it at the top of your apple, and sometimes I just give it a bang, hold it tight. You don't want this to slip from under, so you have to hold the bottle and kind of hold the apple and give it a bang. I'm going to do this on the counter and then give it a bang. This is on very good. See how tight that neck is? There is no alcohol. No alcohol will be able to seep out of this. And I just take my paper towel and give the entire apple a wipe. And I'll wipe around the rim just in case I didn't see anything. So my paper towel is not wet. There's no alcohol leaking. And I just give this one more wipe. I also get asked the question, how do you get your apples so shiny during the cleaning process? The best thing you can do is, after you dip your apples in the water, take your apple and wipe it down. I don't put my apples in the water and then just place them on the parchment paper. Once I take it out the water, I take a paper towel and wipe the apple down right away. And about time I wipe my apples the second time, I have a shine. But I usually wipe these about 4, maybe 5, no more than 5 times during the 24 to 48 cleaning process. That's on pretty tight. And remember, at the beginning, I told you I do not insert my liquor bottles on the top of the apples, and this is why. The weight of the liquor will tilt the apple over. You want to turn your apple upside down to balance the apple out, because the top of the apple is where the weight is. So you want to turn the apple upside down and insert your alcohol bottles, or you're going to have a mess on your hands. I like to turn my apples upside down and cork it on the bottom. You want a balanced apple. You want the apple to balance. So I put it on the top. So you can see that the infused candy apple doesn't balance. If you place these on the top, if the bottle is too heavy, this is what's going to happen. It's not doing it, but what about on this side? See right here? It's leaning. See, it'll fall over. It'll fall over. It'll fall over. But you have to place it like that. But you don't want this apple to have any chances of falling over or tilting over with this alcohol and glass bottle. Okay, so I am going to place my apples like this. I'm going to press down as hard as I can. Okay, it's in the apple. Be careful. Don't do this on the stove. Use a counter. I'm just doing this to show you guys. I need the counter. Okay, so I have it good in there. I turn my apple upside down, push it all the way down. You want to make sure you push it all the way down. Don't keep twisting it. You want to wipe your apple all the way off again. So the best way to make your infused alcohol candy apples is to place the bottle on the bottom of the apple. This way you have great balance. You have great balance because you have the weight of the apple at the bottom with the width. And then you have a bottle on top with weight. It balances this apple well. So the best way to make your infused alcohol candy apples is placing the alcohol bottle upside down in the apple. Because if you think this is the best way to make infused alcohol candy apples, you're going to have this issue with the apple falling over. Again, the best way to infuse your candy apple is turning your candy apple upside down. Take your cap off. Use your counter. You want to press down as hard as you can. Make sure you hold on to the bottle. You don't want that bottle. Put a lot of pressure on this apple. Okay, I heard the apple, the bottle go into the apple, and I just give it a bang. Okay. I gave it a big bang, so I did feel apple juice come out the apple, but there's no alcohol. So what I am going to do is wipe this apple juice off. Make sure you get in the rim. Wipe down your apple. There's no alcohol or apple juice leaking on here. Okay, so my candy has reached 300 degrees. I take it off the heat. I have decided to go with red. Well, I could do a white and I can do a red. No, I'm just gonna go with red. Okay, so I have my white or a couple of drops of red. Or I'm telling you that Hobby Lobby Super Red, it's the bomb, guys. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Make sure this is not translucent. You tilt your pot towards you. You dip your apple all the way down as far as it can go. And you just turn it. You bring it up. Perfect. Look at that apple. And you scrape the bottom of your apple. You place it down on the parchment paper. And you repeat the process. You rotate that apple, bring it up. You can let your candy drip, then scrape the bottom really well. If you have candy up here on the bottle, you can take a damp cloth or paper towel and wipe it down so it can look neat. Or you can hide it with your candy apple bow. And this is the one that will tilt if you're not careful. Okay. And we're done. Let's scrape this some more. I'm just gonna put this right here. Make sure you click on the video above on the top of your screen to learn how to make these cute bows. If you have enjoyed this candy apple tutorial, make sure you stay tuned to watch my next videos coming up right here on Candy Apple TV. I'll see you in a few seconds over in the next video.